What's going on? What's going on? How y'all doing? Everybody, welcome to the Wednesday show. Let me go ahead and introduce the panel. We have the young, the restless, mistaken, T Table, Aisha Shante, Mr. King Talk TV, Mirror Hinks, Mr. Oh, DJ So Lovely, me myself, the Peep J. What's going on, family? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Did I say Aisha? Did I say your name?
You said it right.
Okay, no, I'm just trying to make sure I said it, man. I'm still trying to gather my thoughts, man. Moving at a high speed, a race. But anyhow, good to see you guys. Happy Wednesday. See what we got in the chat. Uh, Christopher Matthews was going on. Just Blaze, 1011. Denzel Madison, Sir Shot 87. We got Varoom. I guess that's how you pronounce it. My apologies if I mispronounced it. Rodney Dunn. Who else we got in the house? Misha Love. Just Blaze 1011. I think I said you already. LD, also a member. Salute to you. As you guys come in, do me a favor, hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you are catching this on the replay, do me a quick favor, hit that like button. And also, make sure you subscribe as well. Got an excellent show here for you guys, man. We're going to be breaking down this Phylicia Rashad leaves women furious after calling them out. I got a typo. I got to correct in that too. But anyhow, yeah, so she went on the Breakfast Club and she had a lot to say about, well, not a lot, but she briefly mentioned about what she's been seeing and how there's a difference between her upbringing and what we are seeing in 2025. So I thought it would be a great dialogue. DJ actually highlighted this earlier to me. She agreed that it would be something that we can discuss. So I'm looking forward to it. How y'all doing on this Wednesday?
Amazing. How are you?
I'm great, though. How
Doing
about
good.
yourself?
Doing wonderful, man. Every time I ask that question, it's always a awkward pause. I'm just wondering, are y'all just tired from the day? How does that work?
Exams are hard. I don't know. You know how they say you got to make it over the hump? So I feel
Mhm.
like by the time Wednesday come, we're like, and we're more refreshed on Thursdays. But Wednesdays are hard for me because that's the first day when I have to start doing all of my extracurricular activities for my daughter. Because if you're a parent, you're involved in these activities. Like you gotta take them and bring them, and so you're doing it too. So
Okay. Anybody else? Why this? Y'all just trying to see who's gonna go first? Is that how that goes?
I think everybody's on mute and it takes some time to unmute. That's what I think.
Oh, okay. I see. Maren saved everybody. Huh? Everybody's on mute, so just a little bit of configuration that needs to take place. Got it. Got it. Well, I'm glad you guys are doing well. I'm doing amazing as usual, man. Anytime I'm above the dirt, it's always a great day. Looking to learn some things. So, with that being said, we'll go ahead and get this show started. Let me just get this video queued up. It's not a video. The Breakfast Club be kind of funny with this copyright stuff. So it'll be the audio. So make sure y'all guys are paying close attention because it's the audio. I know we got some visual learners on here, but I got a picture for you guys. So hopefully that do it. Pictures usually get you guys going as well. It's not no movement. So if you guys struggle with just standing still, just bear with me for 2 minutes as we get through it. Sounds good? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and run this clip. Here we go, y'all. Everybody mute up.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's who he
amazing.
was.
You came up in an era, Miss Rashad, where dignity and grace were everything. So do you ever look at how wild Hollywood is now, and you just think to yourself, boy, y'all got it easy. Y'all wouldn't have got away with that in my day.
Mm,
Yeah, I don't even have to look at Hollywood. I could look at the way young ladies dress.
Mm.
mm.
knew I should have wore some other pants.
You got your
I'm
abs
not
out.
talking
You see what
about
I'm
that.
saying?
Covered
You good?
today.
I'm
Got my
talking
knees
about-
out,
I'm
see,
talking
not near
about-
elbow,
I'm
shoulder
talking-
over here. I
I'm-
just,
you know,
you want my coat?
The young ladies are so beautiful.
Mhm.
They're so beautiful. And something has happened in popular culture,
Mm.
you know, and I don't mean to be critical, and I hope young ladies listening don't take this as personal criticism, because I don't mean it that way.
Mm.
But you're young queens, beautiful and smart and brilliant and bright. And it really, I know I'm taken aback when I see on a college campus young women dressed in strips of clothing.
Mm.
I mean, male instructors.
All right, so I just re-exported it. Y'all said the volume is low. Difficult to hear.
Yeah,
All right, so
Yeah,
low.
yeah, it's really loud. I can't hear it.
yeah. All right, I just re-exported it again. So let me go ahead and see if this is any better. Let me give me 1 second. Struggle streaming. All right, here we go. Let me run it back and see if this is better. Mm,
Yeah,
That's
that's who he
amazing.
was.
You know, you came up in an era, Miss Rashad, where dignity and grace were everything. So do you ever look at how wild Hollywood is now and you just think to yourself, boy, y'all got it easy. Y'all wouldn't have got away with that in my day.
Mm.
Yeah, you'd have to look at Hollywood. I could look at the way young ladies dress.
Mm.
Mm. Knew I should have wore some other pants.
You got your
I'm
abs
not
out.
talking
You see what
about
I'm
that.
saying? You
Covered
good?
today.
I'm
Got my
talking
knees
about-
out,
I'm
see,
talking
not near
about-
elbow,
I'm
shoulder
talking-
over here. I
I'm-
just,
you know,
you want my coat?
The young ladies are so beautiful.
Mhm.
They're so beautiful. And something has happened in popular culture,
Mm.
you know, and I don't mean to be critical, and I hope young ladies listening don't take this as personal criticism, because I don't mean it that way.
Mm.
But you're young queens, beautiful and smart and brilliant and bright. And it really, I know I'm taken aback when I see on a college campus young women dressed in strips of clothing.
Mm.
I mean, male instructors don't like it. But more importantly than that, and you correct me if I'm wrong, sir,
Mhm.
no man wants his woman to be out like that,
Mm.
right?
No, I grew up on Method Man saying, wearing 3/4 of cloth, never showing your stuff off, boo. That's what he said.
That's right.
But not only that, you know, it's like there's today's designers. I mean, there's ways, you know, there are other things, and I just
Leave something to the imagination.
Yeah.
it would be nice.
Some things are for my eyes only, you know?
Yep. And like you said, there are ways of being sexy without showing so much.
Oh, please, and that's really not sexy.
I mean, one of the most sexiest, most beautiful pictures is you. I forgot what year it was, but you got on like a basketball jersey and like some jeans. You eating some popcorn. That is, that's an iconic
Is
picture.
it the white jersey?
Yes,
That was yeah. That we
that
did.
is a
Brown
beautiful
Granny
picture.
jersey.
That's like that is the epitome of sexy.
Oh well, it's. I think it has to do with. I think it has a lot to do with what they see. What they're emulating what they see.
Yeah.
See, we grew up in a time where, you know, the singers, these ladies were dressed down, darling. These women, whew, they were wearing robes and gowns and do, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, it's a little different today.
Yeah.
So they're really just emulating what they see.
Mm.
All right. Appreciate y'all bearing through that audio. Let me go ahead and get to this first question for the panel. Do you think today's fashion choices are more about personal expression or social validation? Do you think today's fashion choices are more about personal expression or social validation? I'm going to go and start with you, Ms. Tegan.
I would say social validation. And the reason I do say that is there's always been a connection between like movies, film, things like that, and fashion, right? Um, I just think the idea of what they were saying that sexiness has changed, right? Um, and I think now skanky is misconstrued with sexy, but there's always been a connection of women trying to dress to impress men specifically. And I think a lot of the initial validation of women dressing with shorter skirts or fitted clothes was because they got that validation from men. And then they began competing against each other, and the clothes got less and less and less. And then it becomes more, you start seeing it in the media. And so then it just keep reinforcing the skankiness. Um, but now men are saying, listen, there's only certain women that we want to see like that, right? But it has been ingrained so much into this generation and culture that now trying to step back is going to be very difficult, especially when the men are continuing to kind of reinforce. Like on the one end, you're saying you don't like it, skanky, but then on the other end, it's still being reinforced. So, but it's definitely for validation.
All right. Go ahead and go with you, DJ So Lovely. Do you think today's fashion choices are more about personal expression or social validation? Does it really matter?
I think it depends on who you're talking to. And I think that it could be a mixture of both. I think not everybody is working from a position of they're always trying to pander to the male gaze. Every woman is not doing that. There are some women that really love fashion. And, as women, we're not one dimensional. We're not linear in how we want to express. Sometimes we're feeling more provocative or sexy. Sometimes we're feeling more conservative or elegant. And I think all of that is expressed through fashion. So I think that we have to also be forgiving with young ladies, because I think that as women we progress and we go through stages. I know me, as I've aged, I become more conservative. So it really just depends on who you're talking to.
All right. Go to you, True Table. Same question. Do you think today's fashion choices are more about personal expression or social validation? And does it really matter?
Do you mind if I go last, JR?
Sure. All right. King Talk TV. It's on you. You on mute. Let me see if I can take it off. Yeah, you got to take it off.
Yeah. I do think that I think it's a combination of both. I do think the age and stage sometimes play a role. Women are multifaceted. There's sometimes where people throw on their clothes and they like, yeah, I want to show myself I still got it. I can still pull them. I know us fellas do it. I'm sure I can only assume the ladies probably had those days as well. I think you attract what you want to attract. And sometimes when you step out, you're not really looking to attract somebody. You just want to express yourself. So it's situational. I really do believe it's situational. You got some people that want to be lusted, and you got some people that just want to feel good, and they associate feeling good to the ire and the gaze of the opposite sex and the admiration of other women.
All right. It's on you, Aisha. Do you think today's fashion choices are more about personal expression or social validation? Does it really matter?
I do agree with Mr. King Talk and DJ So Lovely. I think that it's a combination of both. But I also think that it's important to not like sugarcoat what we seeing, because I don't know about you guys, but I see people walking around with like lingerie on. Like, I don't see that as a form of anybody expressing themselves. Like, I think that that kind of clothing should be in the bedroom. So I feel like that in itself to me is an issue, that like we think that that's okay. No, it's not. It's not okay. I have a 7-year-old daughter and I don't want her walking around in lingerie. Little Deval posted a picture earlier where like literally half one cheek was out and the other one was a pants leg. Like, I don't want my daughter, my sister, my cousins, I don't want to see them like that. So I'm very much so going to teach them to be conservative. Like, that's not normal. I would probably tell them like that's what celebrities do to make money. That's not what the normal everyday woman that holds herself to a standard does. I have days where I want to dress sexy, but I'm not walking around with my ass hanging out. Like, I feel like there's a difference, and I feel like we have to not ignore it. Like, it's literally gotten out of hand. Like, the stuff that I see people walking around in, they shouldn't be. And the fact that we trying to body positivity, I don't believe in any of that. You guys know I believe in shame. Like, you shouldn't have that on. It's falling out everywhere. It looks disgusting. Like, it just is what it is. And I think that we should say that to people. It doesn't look good. It's not a good look. Why are you wearing this? Where are you going to wear this to? Like, that's not self-expression. You wanting to walk around and look with your body parts hanging out for the world to see. How is that, and how is that even helping you? It's not. It's made up. People have been expressing themselves since the 1920s, and they weren't walking around with lingerie. Like, literally during the middle of the day, I seen someone.
All right. So on you, Ink. Do you think today's fashion choices are more about personal expression or social validation? Does it really matter?
Nah, I think it's personal. Because I mean, if we got to give grace to these young little tacky heads, these young heifers, man. I mean, what age does that stop? I mean, so now I got to worry about my son and my nephews dealing with some fast ass little girls because they won't go out there and show that ass. So then he gonna get mad when them young boys treat them girls like hoes, because that's how they dress, like streetwalkers. What do you expect them to do? How you expect them to come at them? How you expect them to come at you respectful if you dressing like you just came off the stroll? You can't be mad at them and say, hey, ho. You can't be mad. You can't feel some type of way, because that's what they see you are. How do they know? They can't tell the goddamn difference. If they went to the strip and then went to shit on a college campus and they wearing the same attire, I'm assuming they hoes too. So now these young boys got to discern, decipher between the two. It's sad that it is what it is. But yeah, I think it's a choice. They choosing to dress like that. They choose like that because I think DJ said, like, you get a certain age, you dress more conservative. So what age is that going to hit? 25, 30, 40? What? These young boys don't want to wait that long to try to decipher which one's a hoe and which one's a lady. You know, you ought to be able to look at them and see how they dress, how they carry themselves, and be able to discern shit. You can't tell the difference no goddamn more. Because now you got some of these old heifers out here dressing crazy. Now the old heifers out here trying to keep up with these young girls because they jealous because the titties are sagging and the ass ain't as juicy like it used to be maybe 25 years ago. So now these old heifers are going out there and get BBL like Vivica Fox because she's trying to keep up with the Joannes. This is crazy. Yeah, it's a choice. You choose to do that. And if you choose to dress like a hoe, don't get mad if they treat you like such. I'll leave it there, JR.
Okay. Ink. Amir, coming to you. Same question. Do you think today's fashion choices are more about personal expression or social validation?
Everybody dresses with social validation in mind. It may be a second thought after, but everybody wants to be accepted by the group that they're in. Example, I dress like Little House on the Prairie most of the time. I like to wear these really long skirts, aprons on top, petticoats, and stuff like that, corsets. I like to dress like Little House on the Prairie, and nobody else really dresses like that. And even in my culture, people don't dress like that, and certainly in American culture, they don't dress like that. But I like it. That's the way I like to look. But I do want to be accepted sometimes by my group, of course. It does bother me, but at the same time, it's my choice. I did wonder about this though, JR, because if you notice something in pop culture happened that I noticed, and it was Beyonce's daughter. Beyonce's daughter, when she first came out, she had her dress with a shirt up to here and very conservative. But on the last Grammys, she had her dress with a very low cut white dress. And I noticed that they had her on a push-up bra or something where she was pushing her chest up. And I thought, was there pressure for her to dress her that way, or was that her decision to do that, to dress her like that, when normally she brought her out really conservative and really dressed like a child? But then during the Grammys, in that white dress, it looked good. It was a beautiful dress. But for 11-year-old, 12-year-old girl with the breast pushed up, it was surprising. So I wonder what made her do that. Was that social pressure to get her to look more hip, or was that her decision? Was that her daughter's decision that she wanted to look like that? I don't know.
I didn't see that one. I missed that one, Mary, but I probably wouldn't have been checking for her anyway. True Table, coming to you. Do you think today's fashion choices are more about personal expression or social validation? Does it really matter?
I think it's both. We live in a different society now, so like it was stated that I think the young ladies are implementing what they see. I think I would say a lot of people are looking to try to gather some level of attention. At one time, it was understood like there was a famous class and then everybody else was regular. Now everybody wants to be famous to some degree. So the uniform have changed to gather that kind of attention and garner that kind of attention. Definitely a choice, but validation for sure. That's what I think.
Okay.
I have a question. If everybody went, I'm not sure.
Yeah, everybody went. Go ahead.
Do y'all think that we put too much weight in how people look? Are we really, because we can be overlooking people on either side. A lot of conservatively dressed women, modestly dressed women get overlooked. And a lot of women that dress a little bit more scantily clad are prejudged. Are we really looking at getting to know people, or are we just taking everybody for face value? And is that a good gauge to figure out who everyone is? Because hoe is an action word. You know, it's not a visual, it's an action. There are a lot of conservative hoes out here. Are y'all being fooled by the conservative hoes?
I just feel like I'm not gonna play pretend. I'm not gonna dress like a hoe if I'm not one. I don't know nobody that's out here pretending. You know what I'm saying? Most of the girls that I know that dress like that, they getting down. And I'm not finna pretend like they not, because we on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the most important thing to say is what's really going on and why are you dressing that way? Because to me, yeah, if it's fashion, if it's on, some things are fashion. But a lot of this is just straight trash, hood red, raunchy. I seen the celebrities do it, so I'm finna go get a cheaper version. And that's just what it is. Nobody really has any class. Like Amber Rose had an entire slut walk. Like she literally hosted a slut walk for like a few years. And it was like, let's cheer and parade and have vendors about being sluts. So it's literally popularized to like dress like this, be like this. But I think that it's important that we switch the culture, and with our kids and with our daughters and with our sons, we could possibly turn things around, because people shouldn't be going outside dressed like that. I feel like there's no reason why.
Well, the slut walk wasn't about dressing promiscuous. It was about taking power out of the word slut. That wasn't the mission at all.
Take power out of the word slut. A slut is a slut. You're a slut.
No, well, what you just defined as a slut is actually not a slut at all. You're talking about how somebody is dressed, and a slut is an action.
Dress like
A,
a
s-
slut.
Hold on, y'all. Let's make sure we're not cutting each other off. Let's make sure we.
Oh, you can dress like a slut.
a slut is an action word. It's not an appearance, but
It is, because you can actually dress like a hoe. That's why, like in Halloween, they have these costumes that so you can actually dress. Like you can actually go buy the costume so you can dress like a hoe or a slut or a prostitute or whatever. You can dress up like a hoe.
is a
So
schoolgirl a hoe? Because
I,
that's also considered a slut costume for Halloween.
oh, they do make slutty schoolgirl costumes. And I say that, and I think that two things can be true at the same time. I don't think that either one of us is giving an incorrect answer. I think that both things are true.
I was gonna say something to what both of y'all said first about like taking a I guess thing out of slut or whatever with the slut walk. To me, that is no different than us saying the N word, saying that, we turn it into something positive, or the B word, oh, we're, turning it into something positive. Like, if something is bad, regardless of the way, or if something has a negative connotation, regardless of how you use it, it still doesn't take away the connotation. So we just shouldn't say it. You know what I mean? Or try to make it a positive spin. We need to call it for what it is and then refrain from using it or behaving in a certain way that is associated with that. But I do agree with you, DJ So Lovely, about prejudging people, right? Because you don't know who they are until you get to know them. However, the flip side of that is, in a society, you are typically prejudged, right? So it's on you to determine what they say, the first impression is the last impression. And even though we don't like that, that is the way that it is. So if you want to send a certain message, even let's say, even if I'm a hoe, it used to be back in the day that was something that wasn't cool, right? So even if you wasn't putting your business out on Front Street. You wasn't trying to look like a hoe. You know what I mean? So so I think it's the same mindset. Is, if you know that you're going to be prejudged, you're like, you're marketing yourself, right? And if you want to be seen as a certain way, then you market yourself that way. So if you're sending the wrong message and people are responding to the message that you're sending, then it's not to say, well, y'all need to change the way that y'all are looking at this, if that is what you're presenting. So, do I think we should prejudge? No, but realistically, is that what is going to happen? Yes. And sometimes prejudging keeps you safe. Like, if I'm a certain place and I see people dressed a certain way or moving a certain way, I'm going to move out of the way. You know what I'm saying?
Mistaken.
So
I have a question for you.
it's just a matter of, if you don't want the wrong message, then, the wrong reaction, then don't send the wrong message.
I have a question for you. Don't you
Yes.
believe that by the way you dress, that you are kind of telling the world something about yourself? Example, me dressing with the long skirts and the aprons is kind of telling the world something about my personality. I like to be more tradition. I like to wear the long skirts. Maybe I garden. Maybe I'm, When you look at me, you get a certain vibe. When you look at someone who's like wearing business clothes, they're telling you something about themselves. I'm a serious person. It's thundering. Sorry, it's thundering. But yeah, I'm a serious person. So when you see someone dress a certain way, especially dressing provocatively, especially when they don't have to, they're not an entertainer. This is their normal day. They're just walking around outside and they have their cheeks out, but not these cheeks, but the other ones. Don't you think that that's them telling you something about themselves?
Yeah, I would say the person that's judging, yes, is telling them something, right? But it could be that I don't have an issue with my body. I'm proud of my body, right? That could be what the reason, as an example, that could be the reason that I'm dressing the way that I am, is because I'm very proud of my body. I don't mind showing it off. I like that. That has nothing to do with my sexuality. However, everything is about the perception. So the way people perceive that, they're not in my mind. They don't know that I'm dressing like this because I love my body, and it is the way that it is, and that's why I'm dressing like that. But you can look at me and it could be the perception of, oh, she's a hoe because I'm showing off my body, right? So we can be sending very different messages, and I think that's what DJ So Lovely was getting at, is the fact that the prejudging part, just like I can prejudge and say, like, for instance, you were saying, oh, I got the traditional outfit on, like, Little House on the Prairie, but behind that, yeah, that's the message that you're trying to send, but behind that you could be a whole freak, you know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't know, right? And I think that's the point, that a lot of times people are dressing to send a certain message because that's the kind of mask that we kind of wear when we're presenting ourselves to the world.
But Aisha made a point of not lying. See, if I were to dress like Little House on the Prairie and traditional, I'm telling you a message of this is how I am. I'm serious. But I wouldn't lie and wear the uniform of a whore if I'm not one.
I would say that's not true. I mean, not you personally, but a lot of times people do dress to present a certain way. That's the whole purpose, is to present a certain way. So even if I'm in a business suit, I can be a straight hoe. You would not know, because I'm trying to present myself as something totally different. I can dress very conservative, but behind closed doors, I'm not like that at all, right? So I'm presenting myself with a message that may not necessarily reflect who I actually am. I'm trying to reflect what I want people to think who I am.
Yeah. And I think we show that we're shallow on both sides. Like when we see Pop the Balloon and we see these guys come out in like these anime t-shirts or something cool like that, they automatically get prejudged as nerds or as boring, or, and everyone's popping their balloon because they don't present a particular way. I think that this idea that this person is like this based off of their presentation, I think that we have to be a little bit more insightful when we're looking at people and not be so judgmental, and also understand that people can change their clothes, but what they can't really change is their character. So I think looking more closely at people's character and not just demonizing them for their clothes, because there is so many reasons why people dress the way they do. Maybe they don't understand you know, what they're giving out, the message they're giving out without speaking, because fashion is a way of speaking to people without saying anything. But when you're young, you don't understand that. So I think just having a little bit more patience and getting to know people's character. There are psychos that are dressed like Wall Streeters. You can really get easily deceived just looking at somebody and judging them on their appearance. And that goes for anybody, not just women dressed promiscuously.
So if a woman is dressed like a hoe and she's out here dressed like a hoe and you are doing it to impress men, a man's not going to think, oh, I'm dressed like this because I'm proud of my body. No, we're going to see you as such and we're going to categorize your ass as a hoe. So we can't sit there and say our first impressions is what we see in front of us, and we're going to just assume that. If you're not going to make an approach because I may not be your flavor. Maybe you like dark-skinned men, and I'm just not dark-skinned enough for you. So you're going to move on past me. But you don't know anything about me. You don't know about my character, about how I move or act and how I carry myself. You're just going to judge me by my appearance, just like everybody else judge people by appearance. Now, you could say it's rightfully so or unfair or it's not okay to do that, but it's life. Now, dressing like a nerd, not everybody gonna think that's a bad thing. But you dressing like a hoe, yeah, 90% of most men gonna think it's a bad situation. Most men are gonna look down upon you or see you some type of way. Yeah, he's not trying to be something serious with you. He's just trying to get a quick fix. That 20 goddamn minutes. If he sees you dressed like that. Now, if he sees you dressed more conservative like a lady, now he's gonna automatically come at you different. Now you're gonna have to prove it with your mindset and how you talk and carry yourself, of course. But I'm gonna come straight at you like a straight up hoe if I see you dressed like, oh, hey, Shorty, what's up with you? What do you want to go on out to the car and do something? That's how I'm gonna come, because that's how you dress. That's how I'm gonna approach you, because that's what I look at you as. You got the hoe attire, you will get treated as such. If you got the professional woman attire, you'll get treated like a professional.
What does getting treated like a hoe look like to you?
Oh, I thought I just did it. You want to hit on after car, top me off?
Okay, so how you treat a woman, how you act as a man is predicated on how somebody else is presenting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I think you posed a pretty great question, DJ So Lovely. I'll tell you where I find an issue with it, not you personally, but just the perspective that we as grown adults cannot arrive in understanding how the world works. I think that our communities particularly does this to where we always want the benefit of the doubt and not understanding that there just is a code of the land. Like when you're a child, it makes sense to walk around 7, 8, 9, 10 years old with a cape on. Nobody will judge you walking into a bank with a cape on at 10 because they understand. But once you hit an adult level of living and you want this, well, don't judge me from an internal perspective based on how I arrive. It's foolishness. It's a rebelliousness that I don't understand why it exists. I think it's so much deeper than the male to female exchange. I think it's just the lay of the land. When you go to places as an adult, dress accordingly. It's really just that freaking simple. And I don't know why we want to fight this, like, let's tear down the structure of standards and let's combat what is, you know, the new standard because we have such a degenerate type of community and not knowing how to assimilate. But then we want respect. So I have a personal issue with that, because on one end, we want the benefit of the doubt that we're doing well, but don't want to do something as simple as put clothes on or attire on or acquiesce a certain way with decorum and respect and maturity. I personally really don't get it. And I digress.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's just why I don't disagree with you guys, and I understand where y'all are coming from. I think there are different types of people in this world, and not everybody feels the need to conform. You know, some people just want to live their life and express outwardly however they're feeling for that particular day. And that's just the way it is. I mean, and with that comes judgment from people like yourself who are more conservative. You just got to be okay with it. With Phylicia Rashad, though, you know, Phylicia Rashad, she's a 3-time divorcee. You know, she doesn't have it all figured out. Let's just say that. Now she presents as a regal woman, but she's an actress. So, you know, everybody that's giving advice and puts themselves on a pedestal doesn't necessarily have it all figured out either. Just saying.
Yeah, you make a valid
Out in
point.
public
And
with their butt out. We are talking about you. You are being talked about. I'm not talking about just no regular old short shorts. These shorts are intentionally made to show your butt cheeks. It's like a V-cut in the back, almost like you're wearing a swimsuit bottom, but shorts. Y'all know that scene in Friday when Craig's mama was walking to her car and she saw Miss Parker across the street watering her grass in them little bitty shorts? And she's talking about, well, look at her. That be me. Whoever I'm with, I'm tapping on them. Look at her. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it that people actually wear that in public spaces with other people around, with kids around. I'm not saying that you stink, but the look is definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, giving stank.
I know some of y'all probably touched on this a little bit already, but I did still want to pose the question for others to chime in that may have not. Is it still fair to say there's a time and place for certain outfits in 2025? Or are we moving beyond dress codes and expectations altogether? Let me
I
go
would
ahead and
like
get
to
you.
see I would
Go
like to
ahead.
see entertainers wear pants again. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I like it's getting old. It's getting a little old. I ain't gonna hold y'all, but there are trends and things that move in and out of pop culture, but we can't let pop culture dictate what we're doing as the general public, you know? And so I'm not mad at it, but it's just I think that we look at pop culture and think that, okay, this is acceptable. We normalize shit when we look at pop culture and we look at entertainers and we see what they're doing. And I think we have to figure out as individuals what feels good to us, whatever that looks like.
I think we gotta also recognize that there are different people playing different roles, and maybe and to be blunt, sometimes there might be a woman who's in her lust energy who wants to be lusted. And I'm gonna say it's similar to the '90s. I didn't cut my locks just because everybody assumed that because I was a dark skinned guy from the Caribbean with locks. I had to deal with the fact that police would stop me a lot, and that every time they stopped me, they were searching my car for guns and drugs and explosives. Because most of the guys they saw in the '90s with locks were playing the bad guy character in a Steven Seagal movie or some other situation, right? So it's unfortunate that we judge people by their outward appearance, but at the same time, you kind of just have to know, like, again, if you dress like a duck and someone tries to talk to you by quacking, they're just trying to speak the language that they think that you're speaking. So you got to go into it with that awareness so you can have patience with the person who assumes that you're out here hoeing. Who knows, you might have just had a kid, been in the house 8 months, you liking the extra curves that you got on your body because you ain't had them curves before, and you just want to enjoy those curves. We don't know what that situation is, but having awareness of, if I'm wearing a DoorDash joint when I knock on your door, you might think I'm bringing food, right? Like, I can't get mad at you assuming I'm a DoorDash guy, right? You just gotta, like, time and place for everything. Dress for the role, dress for the job that you want, dress for the role that you want, right? And when you don't, just be aware of it, because we're human, so we're gonna make assumptions. It's a part of our flawed system.
DoorDash doesn't have a uniform.
You
Just
you you know what I know
just
what
throw it out there.
Go ahead, Mary. You're trying to say something?
There was a party. There was this party that I was going to, right? And I invited one of my friends from school to go with me. So I take her to this party. This is an Eastern European, like Russian, Serbian type of party. But these are all Orthodox Christians. They are all Christians, Orthodox, like strict. But their parties, even though they are more free, they still have a certain etiquette. So even at a party, the women, the ladies wear dresses, but they wear dresses that are tight around the waist and draped down to the floor. They like to drape their bodies or drape sleeves that go all the way down to the floor. Very elegant, very beautiful. My friend, she's my best friend is half black, half white. And I took her with me. I said, come on, let's go to this party. And my family's gonna be there. It's gonna be great. She came to my house to get dressed. She thought party. So she thought American style party. So she brought these dresses, these really tight like tube dresses. I think they call it like band-aid dresses. And she was wearing this kind of thing. It looks like bandages all over her body. And they were so tight and they're really short. and really high heels. She looked beautiful, but I told her, I said, when you go to this party, you're gonna get stared at, and people might not talk to you. And she said, why? It's a party. I said, yeah. She said, but aren't they our age? I said, they're our age. Yeah, they're our age. But I tried to help her, but she didn't want to wear the dresses that I offered her because she said they were too grandma looking. She's like, oh, it's grandma style. I don't want to look like that. The young girls, we all wear the short dresses, short skirts. So I said, okay. We go to the party, and she realized how out of place it was. So when you said, is there a place and time for everything? I don't think that there's really any time or place for certain clothing, because even though it is accepted for entertainers to wear it, because they're entertainers. I mean, people want to see something that is not common to see outside, so they look at that. But for the average woman, especially a woman who has dignity about herself, you're not going to see her doing that. The same thing with the men. If you see a man who's always dressed nice and wearing, Giorgio Armani, looking nice and wearing nice fabrics, and then you see a man who's always in basketball clothes, t-shirts, and trainers, you're gonna think something different. I have one more thing. I've noticed that a lot of older men today do not dress like how men used to dress. Let's say that they don't wear trousers, they don't wear belts, they don't wear button-down shirts. There is no separation of age anymore that I notice in America, that everybody dresses the same. The young dress like the old, and the old dress like the young. There is no, when you see the men, it used to be at a certain age, the men, they pulled their pants up higher and they wore belts or suspenders or something. They don't have, that's not a thing anymore. Now all the older men are dressing with like the young boys, and the young boys dress the same. So I've noticed that there is no more delineation of age and dress. Everybody dresses the same.
All right. Go ahead, True. Is it still fair to say there's a time and place for certain outfits in 2025, or are we moving beyond dress codes and expectations altogether?
I think there's a time and place for a dress code, if you're going to call it that, for 2025. But I do understand that we live in a more free, expressive society current day. Like, even to Amira's point, she's right. We've always had more of a relaxed look in America collectively. If you talk about a global perspective, consider Yankees across the globe, but it has changed drastically. Things are a lot more lax, a lot more free flowing. So, yeah, I think that there should be room for both, time and place. You're going to a party and it's exclusive, and the theme is the 90s, dress like the 90s, whatever it may be. Going to a basketball game, baseball game, dress accordingly. But I would love to see adults who pay taxes dress as such. That'd be cool. I mean, that, my personal opinion, it just, there was a respect that came from it. And I think that just now it's hard to arrive at that, because everyone doesn't seem to be taking themselves that seriously. And I digress.
All right. What about you, Ish? Is it still fair to say there's a time and place for certain outfits in 2025, or are we moving beyond dress codes and expectations altogether?
I think that decorum is always important. To True's point, I remember where like people would just go to basketball games, right, and just wear basketball jerseys. Now the ladies be walking around the United Center with like stiletto heels on at a freaking basketball game. Like, I just don't understand what that's about. So I do think that society plays a role in those things, because it's a freaking basketball game. Um, I think that we should definitely, as a society and as a whole, we because from a standpoint in corporate America, it is way more relaxed. Like, I've been in this industry for 13 years, and I remember even when I worked for NBC, like we came up in there with like blazers and heels and it was very much so like a corporate environment. Now, when you go to corporate, it's a more relaxed environment, right? You don't have to be as dressed up. They give you more freedom to kind of, it's more of a business casual look in most places. And it's more of a freedom of expression. But even within that, there's still a dress code. Like you still can't come up in there dressed like a hoe. So I think that it's about decorum. It's about morals and standards. Like we have to have standards to live in a society and think there's no barometer, there's no bar to measure things from is crazy. Like we literally have to have that.
All right. And you, Hank, is it still fair to say there's time and place for certain outfits in 2025 while we moving beyond dress codes and expectations altogether?
Yeah, unfortunately, it is. I mean, if you want to, wear a little bit of nothing, wear a little bit of nothing. Look, you wear if you want to, but don't get mad if somebody disrespects you or says something to you or stares at you or look at you a certain way. Don't be mad. I mean, look, I see these young boys walk around here with their pants sagging. I'm like, dude, what is so cool about that shit? What is so cool for you to sag and showing off your dirty ass underwears and boxes and shit like that? What's so cool about that? See, to me, when I see shit like that, I think you motherfuckers are gay. And y'all open yourselves up for a man to come take your ass because that's what you're looking for. That's why you're making yourself available. I see a woman who's walking around with her ass cheeks out. Yeah, she's ready to get down with whatever. Just make sure your money right. So yeah, I'm gonna look at you. I'm gonna judge you. I'm gonna be critical. And if I have some type of relationship with you, I might say something to you. Hey man, how about you wear a belt? If you need a belt here, take my belt. Don't put yourself out here, baby girl. Why don't you go cover up? I'm sure your father wouldn't like you out here like that. And I think more people should be saying something, bringing it to these people, young people's attention. Yeah, we're gonna offer some grace. I'm gonna offer you some grace by you going to correct whatever you need to correct. But if I see you after I said something already, now I can't offer you no grace no more. Now whatever you get from me is what you're gonna get.
All right.
Video in question was out of context for the Essence Festival. Essence is a 53-year-old institution that was always about wholesome Black entertainment. The brand shifted right under people's feet. That's what I meant when I said context.
All right. Should how women dresses factor into how she's perceived in a relationship or while dating? Is it fair for partners to have a say so? What if she dresses? Well, she was dressing like that before you hopped into the relationship. Should she have to change the way she dressed, or should she mature along with age? What does that look like? How should a woman dress factor into how she's perceived in relationships or while dating? See what that smiling, Aisha, was.
I think that y'all shouldn't even just go down this rabbit hole. That's why DJ So Lovely is, because it's inevitable. Like, it's inevitable. It's like whenever you meet a guy and you're dating and he likes you, he likes the way you dress. As soon as y'all go exclusive, it's like, you look, and then it's like little comments start, saying here and there. You're like, oh shit, you liked it like when we were dating. It just happens. But I think that, to your point, JR, it does change with age. So I feel like the older you are as a woman and the more mature you are in just it's just gonna change with age. Like you're not gonna feel the need to feel like you have to do certain things or wear certain clothes. Like we all, get sexy when we need to, but there's a time and place, and there's still a way to do that without, overdoing it. But it definitely plays a role in relationships. But I think that that's on the man, because I feel like, it's almost like when somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Like you can't accept this woman how she is for like a year straight of dating her. Same outfits, this is what she been wearing. You loved it. And then as soon as it's as soon as y'all start dating, you're like, you should wear this, this, this. But I also think that women should know what to wear, because I've had a friend who was like, well, he was taking me around his mom, and he said, well, I'm going to take you to get something to wear because I know that you don't have anything that my mama would find appropriate. And she was offended by that. And I was like, well, what do you be wearing? Like, I was like, what did he? And she's like, oh, he wants me to wear like this long dress and da 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 da. And I'm like, well, if you like him, then just wear the dress around his mom. Like, you don't have to wear it every day. Just like when you go meet his mom, put the fucking dress on. It's okay. It's not like you gotta walk around in this shit every day in your normal life. But like when you're around a family, put it on. Like, I didn't see what the big deal was. She was like, hell no, but I mean, I digress.
I kind of feel like I don't agree with that. Sorry. I want to see it. Now I have a son. Whoever my son brings home, I want to see them for who they are. I want to see who the woman is that he's dealing with, because eventually she's going to revert to who she is. Whether it's before the marriage, after the marriage, just be you, baby. As long as you treating my son good, and y'all have a healthy relationship, that's what I'm concerned about. I would hate to have a conservative witch marry my son than to have a woman that's a little more, maybe her attire is a little bit more provocative, but she is a good woman to my son. That is what I'm going to put respect on. That's what's important to me.
So how would you feel about your son telling her what to wear? Like, before you meet my mom, you need to change up what you're wearing.
No, I don't. I think he should find the woman that he's attracted to as she is, because I just feel like human nature, people are always going to revert to what they're most comfortable with. And I think when we get into these situations when we're trying to control other human beings, you're setting yourself up for disappointment, because people are always going to revert to what they're most comfortable with. And if they're not, there is some level of resentment there or expectation. Okay, if I'm dressing how you want me to dress instead of how I want to dress or how I feel comfortable, people are expecting something in exchange for that. They're expecting an exchange for them putting aside themselves, if that makes sense. So I think just finding people that are already in alignment with who you are and what you like is the key, because people are not fucking clay to be molded, and we're not children. So I think finding a woman that is already in alignment with your taste, your style, what you're attracted to, is a beautiful thing. I think when you get with a man that's trying to control you, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. And it goes in reverse. A woman trying to control you, red flag, red flag.
So I feel like you got to let a hoe be a hoe. Shout out to the ghetto boys. You got to let a hoe be a hoe. So she's dressed like a hoe. You let her be a hoe, and you use her ass as such. You treat that hoe as such. You fucking get up. You don't bring her home to your mammy, to your family reunion. Don't take her ass out. She don't deserve a goddamn meal. She deserves the 20 minutes and get the fuck up. Don't waste your time with a hoe. Don't try to change the hoe. Don't. You can't make a hoe into a housewife. You're wasting your time. Just like DJ said, she gonna go back to her default mode, and that's the hoeing. So let her be. Don't change the hoe. Let the hoe be the hoe. You find a real one out there who dresses to the ladies you like, who dresses like a lady, who carries herself like a lady, who talks and act like a lady. Leave them hoes for them hoe ass dudes.
Men are very territorial, and JR, you said, should a man say something about his woman if he met her a certain way? Men are territorial, and when a man actually starts to care about you, he is protecting you. He's going to protect you more. Part of that protection means I don't want you to put yourself at risk for uncouth, disrespectful situations. So for that, I'm going to try to protect you by having you present yourself better, in a better light. But in the first place, you shouldn't be with a woman that you have to make into a proper lady. I mean, if you, just like King said, if you met her like that, then that's probably who she's going to default to be. And you're probably wasting your time trying to force her to act a certain way or look a certain way in front of certain people, when in the truth, later on, when she gets comfortable, upset, or what have you, she's going to default back to what you met her as. So it's better to find what is real, find a person who's really that way, instead of trying to make her present as something that she's not. The other thing is that image is everything. Image is everything, especially for ladies. For ladies, even like I said, being around men who are not your man, that messes up your image. Being in certain situations, being in places where ladies wouldn't dare find themselves, it messes with your image. Men see that. For men, they don't like to be embarrassed. And if you are out there dressing a certain way, you're putting an image out there, you're embarrassing your man. So men don't like to be embarrassed. Don't embarrass your man by looking like a sloot.
I do think that I'm more in tune to tell people I'm in tune with alignment, right? If you're in your 20s and maybe your early 30s, hopefully you outgrow lust by the time you've been in your 30s. Like, Lord, if you're still leading with lust, then you can't complain about the results you get, right? So if you're a fella and you know deep down inside that you're drawn to Shorty because she had most of her body exposed, then you check yourself for what you're drawn to and the results of leading with lust instead of leading with finding out whether or not there's compatibility. I think organically, women may desire to alter the way they dress because they know that they have a maturing, budding relationship with you. But that, again, is the kind of person you select. And you should be able to tell that by your willingness to show attention, their willingness to show attention. People I'm sitting here trying to think, like, was there ever a point where I had to ask my wife to dress differently? And I can't imagine that an attentive partner is going to be need to be told. Like, there's something off with the alignment if you have to tell your partner, hey, baby, put your titties away. Or if the ladies have to tell the guy, pull your pants up to your ass, you're about to meet my father. Right? Like, I don't even understand how things get to that point where you selecting that person to be your person. Like, at some point, they're supposed to know you. They're supposed to know, like, where you stand. Like, if you met them in a lustful way, and all of a sudden you're switching up, you got to realize that everybody now might switch up at your pace. And then you got to figure out, you can't force that person. Either it happens organically or you got to separate on that. You got to make some decisions. Mm-hmm. But forcing somebody is crazy. If you met her dressed like that, that's what you liked then. If you mature to the point where you don't like it, then that's not the one for you.
Is there a difference between a wife dresses versus someone that's single? Is there a difference?
I think typically there is. I think if you're a traditional person, then you align with leaving something to the imagination. A non-traditional person may put whatever type of bait on the fishing line they think they want to put on the fishing line in order to attract. So you just got to know, metaphorically speaking, what type of person it is that you're trying to, you know what I'm saying, link up with. Like if you want a person who's a lady in the streets and a freak in the bed, then you're not going to pay too much attention to the people who are already dressed like a freak in the streets.
All right, how you feel about this? Go ahead. Who was that?
That's me. Embarrassment was mentioned. You know what else is embarrassing? Having a husband that says that he's really into he wants his wife to be conservative and this is what he's into, but then you see a lot of husbands under random IG girls liking their photos chronically, in the strip club every weekend, having multiple OnlyFans subscriptions. That's also really embarrassing because what happens is a lot of times women will curtail and change their look and their whole aesthetic because they're a wife. But I don't think that we put enough uh, focus on what the man is doing to act like a husband and not embarrass his wife, and to actually live up to this standard of, okay, now you're a wife. Well, now you're a husband. I won't embarrass you if you won't embarrass me. And a lot of the times those things, um, it's not the same respect put on it. And I think that a lot of times there are some men, not all men, that it's not that you don't dress conservatively enough, it's that they want to dim your light sometimes. The same thing that they were attracted to, they want to dim because they don't want other people to see what they saw when they were attracted to you to begin with. And I think there's something to be said about men who want to put a potato sack on you because they don't want anyone else looking at you. So there is a very thin line between someone wanting a woman to look like a wife and act like a wife when they're not acting like a husband, one, and two, someone wanting to dim your light versus enhance it.
You mentioned acting like a husband. Can you kind of paint that picture as far as,
Yeah.
from your opinion, what does acting like a husband look like?
I think a man just having in his mind, okay, is it, before I do this action, before I purchase this OnlyFans, before I sit up in the club and throw away all my disposable income on these hoes, as y'all put it, before I'm dropping down in the likes on all these random scantily clad women on Instagram or Facebook or whatever your social media of choice is, how will this make my wife feel? How will this make my, my life partner feel, my spouse, whomever you have in your life, whoever's important to you? So if you're asking her to change all these things and curtail her behavior, I hope that the men are coming with that same energy, and you're also being respectful and mindful and of how she feels. That's how a husband looks.
I think that's a very conflating argument. I hear you though. I do hear you. I think men should have a standard and carry it with respect. But I think that mixing those two is kind of dangerous. And the reason why is because there's double standards. They do exist. What may qualify a woman to become a wife, lifetime partner, a committed vessel, spouse, whichever, you meet that man's standards. That does not necessarily mean that you meet that man's lustful standard, eye standard, fantasy standard. And this is not gender specific, because women can be in a whole relationship with a man that hits on every marker. He could be a deacon, a pastor, he could be a teacher, and she will still click and fantasize about Michael B. Jordan and Idris Elba and all these men that don't look nothing like her husband. So I think that it's a very disingenuous presentation to say that men should move a certain way. Now, I do agree on the respect factor. I don't think a man that has a family, a wife that he loves and respects, should be berating or bringing any shame or unnecessary shame to his relationship by his characteristics or how he moves throughout the earth. But to think that as a man and then having a wife that she now meets the final standard of his eye appetite, sex appetite, that's a fallacy. How he chooses to carry himself from that point, I do agree with you on that one, and I digress.
So I want to say this. I do think it's pretty goddamn ridiculous if you're a family man to be sitting there putting hard eyes under random shorties' pages. I think that is ridiculous. You can look, but you don't have to comment. Like, you can look, but you don't have to gaze. You can look, but you don't have to drool. Like, there's a certain level of decorum that you're supposed to separate you as a guy in a relationship from a guy who's single and available. You can fantasize all you want, but you don't have to make the Homer Simpson noises while you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like, we sounded like Homer Simpson around a donut with the oh and the drooling. Like, you have a little bit of decorum.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you, sir. I think we may be saying something similar.
Yeah, I'm just saying that is embarrassing to a woman, and a woman who's trying to figure out how to gain her husband's attention may look at the fact that you're looking at these types of women, and it may influence her to attempt to become the object of your desire. So it can have influence over someone who has decided they want to spend their life with you.
I just think that it's okay. I was responding to what DJ So Lovely was saying, and this is me. I'm speaking for me. You know, because it will definitely trigger me. I think sometimes there are women who try to say what men should acquiesce to as far as how they move as a husband or in a relationship. But we give them room to still live within the realm of fantasy. The reality is you can be with somebody that you love to the moon and back, but you're never going to get 100% of everything you want. Now, I'm not saying you need to display this to the globe, to the internet. I know men who are married and got lowrider posters in their garage right now. Their wife is happy, he happy, whatever. And that's what they do in their household. But what she said, and this is what I took from it, is that once you arrive at now being a husband, it's supposed to come with this, this act of sorts. And that may be true, but I think that it's contradicting, because then on one hand, we're saying, well, people want to express themselves the way they dress. And then, well, if you're in a relationship, well, now this is how you need to act. I would like to say we should give room to what they choose to do in their relationship. To the embarrassment, if it's coming from the wife, that makes sense. How it's viewed and perceived from others, 9 times out of 10, it's coming from people who aren't in that relationship. And that's left to their interpretation. But that's how I see it.
I think we moved the goalposts a little bit, because we went from, the topic is women. So when I brought up being embarrassed, I appreciate the topic, but at the same time, it kind of switched from me talking about women dressing to talking about how men embarrass women. But as for the internet issues, I guess this is something I don't have any experience in, but the equivalent to embarrassing your woman outside would be, like you said, True, staring at another woman out in public or something like that. Yes, that's embarrassing. It can be embarrassing. But the reason I say that men don't like to be embarrassed is because for men, this is just my view, but I believe that it's more important for men to not be embarrassed than women. Women, everywhere there's beauty. So if a man is noticing beauty all around the world, I don't see that as an embarrassment unless you're acting stupid. If you start acting stupid for beauty, then okay, that's one thing. But for a man to notice beauty around the world is not embarrassing to a woman. But a woman is supposed to hold herself and be less accessible to men. So a woman being out there and being overly accessible is extremely worse. It's a worse offense than a man seeing a woman or noticing beauty.
They want to pose this question. Phylicia, Rashad mentioned dignity and grace. Do you think older generations are out of touch, or are we just redefining what those qualities look like today?
Might be both. It might be both. Phylicia Rashad has some scantily clad pictures out there. I looked them up. They're there.
What?
When she was younger, yes. Do y'all want to see some?
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's not explicit, you got a
I
link.
have to turn up my computer. I'll send them. Phylicia Rashad has some pictures when she was younger. Okay, which okay, it's not a big deal. Most women, when they're younger, they dress a little bit sexier. They dress a little bit different than they do when they're older. And I think that as we age, we become, you know, with age brings wisdom, with age brings experience. And we've been there, done that. So it's easy for us to speak to young women and say, hey, there's a pothole coming, you know. But sometimes people have to go in the pothole. Sometimes people have to go through life to understand what works, what doesn't work for them. And I think that it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just it's just a growing pain in life. Just the same way, I'm sure there are many men that when they were younger, they used to dress more flashy, you know, they used to do certain things that they don't do as older men. They realize that it's not on them, it's in them. And that's something that you learn with age, with wisdom. You become a little bit more conservative and you understand, like, look, what I have to offer is not on me, it's in me. And these are just lessons that you learn as you go through life. So I don't think there's anything wrong with just giving people space to grow. That's it.
All right. Go ahead, Aisha.
I just think that it's not a bad thing to operate with grace and dignity. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And I do agree with DJ, like as you get older, you change, your mindset changes. But what I am seeing on social media is there is no age. Like everybody is getting BBLs. Everybody 45, 50, they on the internet half naked. So I think that that's what we're seeing. And these are people that are supposed to be examples. All of these women probably have kids. They have sons, they have daughters, and then their daughters think that it's okay to dress this way. So I think that it's important for us to like have some decorum. Like I said before, I agree with Phylicia Rashad, and I don't see anything wrong with her having pictures back in the day because she's learned and she has wisdom. And I think that it's too much in our face. But I also think that men are the reason why it thrives.
You said men are the reason why it thrives. Why is that?
Because that's what they desire. That's who is liking the photos. That's who is going to the strip clubs. It's the rappers that are putting these girls in their videos. They are making it popular. If the men didn't set that standard, then the women wouldn't be doing it.
So, so if the men are, when you say set the standard, is this a standard for them to look at, or is it a standard for them to be in a serious commitment marriage with them?
Obviously,
is there a difference from the way that they are? Because if men are just fantasizing about these women but not looking for serious commitment with them, then should that be the standard?
I feel like it's the standard when you have $1 million men and $1 billion black men, right? Like you have people like Kanye that are like just wifing up hoes, right? When you have women that literally are getting rich, like building whole empires off of just being a hoe. Like I fuck this rapper, I fuck with that rapper. Like back in the day, we didn't even know who they had sex with, or let alone, but it's literally the new lick. So it's like all of these women are trying to look like these women because these women are getting these men, and they're getting them because we're literally watching it. It's unfolding before our eyes. So to say that men aren't choosing these type of women, they are.
Aisha, what is the age? What is the age that
these
women
little
should?
girls gonna come up and they get a false sense of reality because now they think they gonna be able to do it, and guess what? They gonna come out disappointed because they not gonna get the same results that they feel like these other I guess rich hoes or hoes looking on to come on the come up. Yeah, they not gonna get the same reality. They're not gonna get the same reality. So, unfortunately, it's our
Unfortunately,
community.
Hank, I know y'all don't like to hear this on this panel, but the hoes be winning. I
Yeah,
know
shout
that
out to the
y'all
hoes.
like to
Shout out
say
to the hoes.
nice guys finish last, but nice girls, we finish last. Okay,
Yeah, I feel you.
point
I
blank
feel you. But
period. We are completely.
I understand what you're saying. Shout out to the hoes. Hoes are winning. Right on. But the bad thing about it is only us in our community is being graceful and classy is a bad thing. It's looked down upon. It's Jesus Christ, man. We have a lot to learn as a community. If this is where we at right now, hoes are winning. You, so, our elder tell us, yeah, you might want to dress different, or try to move yourself different, or talk a little different. Don't be embarrassing yourself and showing off all your goods. Save some for for the imagination. Nah, we want to let it out. Why? Because I got a nice body. Is that our excuse? Is that our reason to doing it? Man, this is crazy.
I mean, I think social media is partly to blame too, because when you can quantify attention with likes, for a lot of people, unfortunately, that's a commodity. That's a thing for them. And they put value on that. And unfortunately, I think that a lot of women are mistaking attention with respect. You can't you're not going to get the same result. Attention feels good. It's instant, right? But respect is something that is a slow burn for a lot of women. And if you are not discerning as a woman, it's easy to fall for the attention, for that instant gratification, for that quick fix. Oh, okay. Well, when I post me in a bathing suit, I get 500 likes. But when I post me in a blazer and a pantsuit, I might get 20 or 30 likes. And for people coming up, they don't understand the difference, that those likes don't actually mean anything and they don't translate in your real life. I think we understand that as that are people that are older and come from a different generation, to where we understand that social media is social media. That has nothing to do with real life and what your goals are, what your aspirations are, who you want to couple up with in the long run. But I think for people that are coming behind us, it's harder to determine. So I think that not just the women, you can talk to the women and talk about how they dress, but you also have to talk to, if you're going to talk to the women, you have to also talk to the men about what they give credence and attention to.
I
Do
mean,
you
but
think
but
the
but
men
like she
can?
said, it's a false sense of reality. Me hitting the heart on IG is a false sense of reality. So it doesn't matter if they like it or not. It's still a false sense of reality. So now you got to worry about your daughters, worry about like creepy guys, what King was talking about, coming looking at your pics and everything like that. You're gonna attract everything. Guys that are cool and maybe seriously out there looking for you, or you gonna attract them creepy dudes like what King was explaining a second ago. You got to worry about all of that, and you putting yourself out there. That makes no sense to me.
Do you guys think that it's easier for a man to control what he likes, or easier for women to be able to control how to present themselves?
It has to be a combination of both. It has to. It can't be, if women are controlling how they dress, and they dress modestly and they dress conservatively, but they're not getting any results, what is that communicating to the woman?
Oh, it's all the way down.
So it has to be a two-way street.
I think this is where it gets a little sticky for me, and I really would love Aisha to expound upon what she meant by good girls losing in a second. But if you have a beautiful body, you're a fairly attractive woman, you do not have to put this online. This is strategic. Like, people take time, effort. Most girls don't take one photo, they take hundreds or dozens or whichever, then they post it, right? So it's intentional. I don't think it's fair to say that the globe of men who can view this stuff that you put up for free should just ignore it or whatever. Men have always liked beautiful women. That's not going to change tomorrow, next year, 50 years from now. Now, how beautiful women used to be presented, you used to have to actually go to the store, buy a magazine, or go to certain places to see this stuff. Now it's just a World Wide Web. So I think that there's responsibility on both, but you are presenting the product from a visual perspective. You're doing it with intent. And then you're saying, well, tell the men not to participate. The whole point of you doing it was intentional. You wanted participation. So I think that that's where it gets a little sticky for me.
Let's use the beauty muses as an example, right?
I think
My
for you
beauty
to
muses.
assume that we want you guys to look at us.
Hold on, Aisha. I think DJ was talking. Somebody
Just really quick. I'm gonna just give y'all an example, right? Like my beauty muses growing up was people like Dorothy Dandridge, Lisa Bonet, Aaliyah, Nia Long. These are women that I'm like, wow, they're beautiful, you know, and those were things that I looked at as a young girl and said, that's something to be aspired to as far as a beauty icon or a beauty muse and what have you. But now when I think about, okay, who's the beauty muses of today, of 2025? Who are the women right now that are popular, that are made popular not just by women, but also by male attention? Who are the women that are the beauty muses of today? Can y'all shoot some out for us? Who are the beauty muses?
Yeah, my wife. So that's mine. That's what I'll focus on. I'm locked in on. So shout out to her.
Okay. Period. Period. Hey,
Shout out to
shut
Mrs.
me
Hayes.
down, honey.
I mean, I think Kim K still holds the standard. I think Margot Robbie still holds the standard. I think, what's that girl name? Coco, is it Coco Jones? I think she's a fairly Coco Jones, a gorgeous girl. There's quite a bit. I mean, so many actually.
So you said Kim Kardashian, for example. Do you think Kim Kardashian's aesthetic is always conservative? She's a beauty muse for a lot of people. Not usually.
I think,
and she has and her body is modified.
Sure.
So now these are the new beauty muses, right? Like when I went to my hairdresser, I said, baby, give me a 90s fine. I like the 90s fine aesthetic, but for some women, what they're going for looks like Megan Thee Stallion, Kim Kardashian, Glorilla, because these are the things that we give attention to. These are the things that we give instant gratification to. So we also, like I said, we have to be mindful about what we're making popular, what we're saying is beautiful to us, and then now we're looking at general population when they're trying to look like these muses, like they're crazy, when in actuality we have a lot to do with that.
Aisha, I think True wanted you to expand on that point you made a little earlier. Good girls finish last. Almost.
Okay. So what I was saying is that conservative women aren't the ones that are swiftly chosen, because we aren't the ones who are going to get your attention first. So for me, in my experience in dating, I usually have to go approach the guy. So they're not going to notice because I'm not walking around with no clothes on. Like, I might be modestly sexy, but I just hanging out. So I think that in my experiences and experience of my friends and the people that I'm around, it's like the hoes be winning. They be getting their bills paid and everything. So you know what I'm saying? Like they be getting bags, shoes. Like it's a thing. Like I'm like, damn, these hoes be winning so hard. Like Fashion Over dresses, like they be They getting it, okay? And I see it. I've been seeing it for years. And so for y'all to just be sitting here like it's the women, no, it's the men that are funding these hoes' lifestyles, right? These women ain't flying themselves to you know what I'm saying, Dubai. You know what I'm saying? These men are financing these hoes' lifestyles. They're paying to get their bodies done. These men are doing all of those things. And so then here the regular women, they gonna start eventually. They start mimicking that because they think that that's what men want, and that's just how I feel. Like they think that's what men want, and then everybody starts mimicking it, and then they do it under the guise of, "Oh, this is for me. I just want to feel good about my body." You look like a whole clown. So, and there's a lot of girls out there with botched bodies today. You know what I'm saying? Because of this.
I hear what you're saying. I'll say it breaks my heart that's how you perceive it. And I've heard that before from other women, that they take the highlight reels of these exchanges and do not really understand the investment that men make. Men have generally always made two investments, short term and long term. What you seeing is short term. Dudes will trick off, not saying it's right, but they will do it. Having old girl to live on cloud nine for a weekend is nowhere near as expensive as maintaining a woman for a lifetime, 20, 30 years. We know this, and we assume women know this. So I guess the conversations are not occurring where you can see a man give the highlight reels, give her the best experience for a short snapshot of time. What used to be valued was long term, and that doesn't seem to be valuable anymore, because wanting to take care of you, wanting to pay your bills 10, 20, 30 years out, get rid of your student loans, I would say that that's probably more significant, but it may not just be as sexy. And it's sad that there are women who do perceive themselves being quality that are losing because for whatever reason, they don't feel that that's valuable anymore. I digress.
Interesting. So is it okay for a man to have a change of heart for how she dresses? I mean, I know Aisha, you were saying that's the way that they met you, but I mean, what if he just have a change of heart about how she presents herself? You know, what if it's from a protection POV? Like, what if he's noticing that that the outside men are getting a little bit more aggressive and they
I've seen that too, right? Because as a woman, I've been out with my guy, and like men, especially out here in the city, like they don't care. They don't care that your man is with you. So it can create a dangerous situation for men. And if you're a woman and you are naive and you ain't never been in that situation, then you won't understand why your guy is saying, like, hey, when you with me, when you go out with your girls, you know, surely whatever, hey, y'all have fun. But when you with me, tone it down, because he doesn't want the other men looking at you like that when you're with him. And if they do, then he gonna have to check them. It's gonna be a whole deal. So from that standpoint, I understand, because I've been in that situation where it's like it's a little different the way that I dress when I go out with him versus if I'm kind of just out with my girls. And that's why sometimes you'll hear men be like, dang, y'all dress like that when you with me. But when the girls come out, but it's just like, well, I can't because I'm with you. So that's how I feel about that.
Yeah, look, if you my wife, you're not dressing to try to impress. Go out. Why are you dressing like that to try to go and get attention of other men? Why are you doing that when you got a whole husband at home? Why are we doing this? Now you got to reevaluate what you invested in. So fellas, if your woman's out there dressing like a streetwalker, yeah, you need to reevaluate some things. Now, if you're a dude that don't mind her dressing like that, well, that's a different conversation. But if you have a problem with it and she does it anyway, yeah, you made a bad investment. That's a goddamn money pit, and I feel bad for you. You got to have a come to Jesus meeting with this heifer to try to talk her out and convince her to stop dressing like that. But you know what she's gonna throw in your face? Well, you met me like that in the club, and dog, what can you say? You got to take it L and keep it moving. Shame on you for getting with her. That's your fault.
But that's the thing, Hank. The way that you present in a club shouldn't be the same way that you present at work. It's not going to be the same way that I present if me and you are going on our first date. It's not going to be the same. Like, I feel like people present differently, right? And maybe there was a night out in the club where I had a little bit more showing, but that's not typically going to be the same way that I'm dressing when me and you are going out on a date, or when I'm going to your cousin's party or something. You know what I mean? Like, I think that you dress differently depending on the situation. And I think that a lot of women don't know how to do that, because from an HR standpoint, HR director standpoint, I've had to tell women, like, that is not, especially the new age, the Z's generation, whatever, they do not know how to dress coming to work. Like the young ladies, yeah, they don't know. One lady, I had to ask her, was she going to the beach? It was like a beach cover up. I don't know what was going on with her. And she was totally offended when I pulled her in. Okay. And I told her, I'm like, dude, I am not the fashion police. You know what I'm saying? But where did you think you were going today? And we told you that the CEO was going to be here. Why did you? Because he was the one that was like, what does she have on? I didn't even see, because I really don't pay attention to the employees like that. But I have so many conversations with them about how they have to present themselves and how they should dress and knowing what to wear when. And like the young lady just didn't know. She just didn't have the knowledge. Like nobody had ever taught her how to dress in a professional setting. So some of it is about people just not knowing. They just see what they see on social media and then they go with it. Ain't nobody taking them to the side and telling them, this is how you go to work. This is how you dress for a job interview. Like, so that's why I don't agree when DJ Lovely say, oh, we just be free. No, because when you get out here in this world, you have to dress a certain way. To get to a certain level, most people have to conform. I was in the military. I had to wear a uniform. Like, so most people have to conform to whatever it is they want to do. Otherwise, you're not going to be successful.
Yeah, so what that young lady did, she did that on purpose. She knew the CEO was coming. She's looking for the come up. That's exactly what she was looking for. She was looking for the come up, and she thought she was gonna get up. Well, now unfortunately, CEO didn't bite. He didn't take the bait, and so now she's gonna have to get suspended about 3 days for her dress, her attire.
I actually fired her, but go ahead.
You fired her? Why? Why did you fire her?
I fired her because it wasn't the first incident, and when I confronted her, she got really belligerent.
Okay. Well, listen, coming from a generation where we used to dress like we was going to the office anyway, even when we was going to the club, I can't relate. I used to dress like a fucking flight attendant when I would go to the club. So I don't know.
Remember when we used to like have to wear heels? Like you couldn't even go out.
Yeah, but I do not miss that. If I show y'all the shoes that I wear now to my corporate, hold on, I'm gonna show y'all the loafers I wear to my corporate job now.
Okay, while she doing that, gentlemen, are you guys a little bit more relaxed when you guys travel? I know in Chicago, for instance, I mean, people still dress wearing skimpy things, but I noticed that some people will open up a little bit more if they're going to like Miami. If
Look
they're
at these
going
things. They are so ugly, but I promise you, these are so fucking comfortable.
I'm so
I
disappointed in
love
you,
them
DJ.
with
I'm so
my
disappointed.
heart. It's the UGG Telfar.
What are those moccasins? What are those Indian moccasins?
They Jesus ones.
DJ, you just, I mean, you present.
I don't gotta wear socks with these.
No.
This is so Telfar and UGG did a collaboration, and I love these so much. I do. Sorry, I'm not wearing heels ever again in the office.
I'm with you. I work from home now, but if I go to the office, whenever I do, I'm
not doing it.
I always have a good loafer or a nice flat. Heels.
Baby,
JR, what was your question, JR?
I'm not catching corns for nobody.
Before you
Okay.
got interrupted with some flats.
No, the question was just for the gentleman. I know in Chicago, people do dress openly, but I know some people reserve to open it up a little bit when they go out of town, like Miami. They're going to, out the country. They may open up a little bit more. Like, are you guys okay with them dressing a little differently, depending on the city, depending on the climate?
In other words, can your wife wear a string bikini in Miami?
No, she can't. So we don't do that. You
You
represent
should have
me in
known
my
the answer
last
to
name.
that question.
So you okay, shout out to you, GJ. So my wife has to dress respectfully. She knows she represents me and my last name, and we're not going to do anything that's going to embarrass that. So no, she's not going to just be wearing everything and anything. Look, everything about her's for me and not for your eyes. You know what I'm saying? Not at
Everybody
all.
can't
They
wear a
not put
string
up with that.
bikini either, Aisha. That part.
Okay, shout out to you. But now, if your woman wants to wear that, then let her wear it. I'm gonna look at your woman. I ain't gonna front. I'm gonna look at her and say, "Damn, dog, what would you think about letting her come out like that?" Yeah, no, we're not doing it in Hink's household.
Yeah, I second that, Hink. My lady doesn't even. She runs her out, like she shops and she'll be like, "Is this cool? Is this all right?" Yeah. She knows how we move, but I picked one also who dresses, to her body, to her style. I don't like women who are overly revealing. So just because we in another zip code or on another continent, the cheeks don't get to come out just because. That's nonsense. Like, we're not doing that.
Okay, so when you say overly revealing, I understand cheeks out. I know common sense, right? Cheeks out, breasts out, but sometimes some men, depending on a woman's shape, some men want their woman to be a little bit more reserved when she can't help it. So can you kind of paint the picture on what you're loose with versus what's a little bit too much? Like, are you okay with, the black, what is it, mesh or lace? I don't know what it is, but you can kind of see through it a little bit. Like, are you okay if she has something like that? I mean, like, what's a little bit extreme? Paint the picture for me.
I think the mesh, I get what you're saying. It has to still be tasteful. It has to be covered up. I'm conservative in that area. I'd say if she wanted to maybe get a little jazzy with her makeup, that'd probably be like, all right, cool. Maybe some shimmer and stuff. Because I'm pretty simple. Like, she's naturally beautiful. I don't like the extras, but I get it. Like, women need a little bit more extra sorts. But if it's showing any overly pronounced areas that don't need to be highlighted, yeah, I don't care where we at. We not going. She already knows that though. Like, so I don't compromise in that arena. It's just not necessary.
It's just a different time. Let me show y'all. This picture is like.
Make sure it's not nothing crazy now, DJ.
No, it's my picture. It's a picture of me in my younger yesteryears, back in the day, like 15 years plus ago. This is how we used to dress in the club. So that's me right here on the side in the black. You know what I'm saying? We still, like, it was sexy, but not like overtly so. You know what I mean? It's just a different time. They don't dress like this anymore. That's how this is nostalgia right here.
Is that a
So
denim dress or is that leather? I can't even see it. Is that leather or denim?
not what over here. This is my friend. You
Yeah.
mean? This is denim. So denim. You see,
Oh,
I
okay.
still have my little hair swooped up or whatever. This is how we used to dress when we went to the club. It was a different time, y'all. It was a different time.
But something like that's nothing wrong. I don't see nothing wrong with that. But
Right.
But what we seeing now is totally different. Yeah, they wearing pasties and that's it. You know what I'm saying? They wearing pasty and maybe a kente cloth around the bottom area, and then that's with some heels on, and they in there. You know what I'm saying?
They said that ain't her.
Then they got my man True buying drinks. You know what I'm saying? He buying the first 3 rounds. Shit.
So say you gotta get him loosened up a little bit.
Yeah, he getting them
But
primed.
that's when men used to buy drinks too.
Yo, we don't do that, sir. But I feel you. Hank.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
No, man.
Thank you, Miss
it's a little
Hank.
different, man. And
I don't know, man.
I don't even go to clubs. You know what I'm saying? That's not my style. That's not my thing. I'm more of a guy who likes to go watch a live band, listen to live music and stuff like that. But even there, you know, and that's, you know, you would think that's a little bit more conservative, but even when you go there, you got a few ladies come through there with a little bit of nothing on, you know what I'm saying, with some dental floss around their nipples and they call it a day.
You know what? It's just a different. I try not to judge people in these times based off of the times I came up on, because it's just different times. I mean, we could impart wisdom on people and we could tell them what we know, but it's just different times. It is. It's the same thing for me as a DJ. Even as a DJ, I listen to the music and I'm like, the fuck is this? But I have to take everything with a grain of salt because it's just not my time. It's just a different time. Everything is not gonna always be as relatable as we like it to be as we get up there in age.
Bang.
What happened, JR?
Oh, that's that cheap Keith.
They said I had. They said
drop.
he said I had the shortest top and the shortest skirt. You know what? Y'all ain't never gonna be. It is what it is.
I don't know, man. I don't see nothing wrong with women dressing a little sexy, man.
Yeah, I mean, let's not get too crazy now. Hold on.
I mean, I don't.
I mean, I've had guys that have like bought me sexy outfits, so I think that, you know, to each his own. You know what I mean?
Do you think that they were buying things to be suggestive? Like, I want to see you dress sexier?
No, because it fell right in line with something that I would already wear, right? So I just think that some men are very secure in that area. Like, some men genuinely don't care. Like, if you look good to them, now if it gets so far now, okay, but like, I've had guys that are like, nah, you look good, you look great. Like, I literally am like, is this okay? And they're like, you look great. So I think to each his own. I think there's nothing wrong with being a little sexy for your man.
Yeah, I'm not going for everything, but I'm just saying. I mean, if we dressing up, we stepping out. I don't see nothing wrong with looking a little sexy. You know?
Yeah, I mean, okay. Let me ask the men this: don't you think it's a good thing if your woman is still turning heads? Isn't that a good thing?
Yeah, but
I mean,
but
to be honest, I mean, men turn heads.
If they don't looking, I don't want her.
Turn heads out without showing everything off. Look. To me, a sexy woman is one who don't have to show everything. To me, that's my opinion. Like I said, I don't mind you women dressing sexy because you don't belong to me. You're not on my cover, so I care less. Like I said, you just gonna be here looked at and then keep it moving. Now, my woman, we not doing it. We're gonna be respectful. Dressing sexy, you don't have to show what you have. You don't have to show your titties and your all your thigh meat. You know what I'm saying? You don't ain't got to do all that to be sexy. Man, you know what's sexy about a woman? The way she walks, the way she talks, the way she sits there at the table with her legs crossed. To me, that's sexy as hell. A woman wearing some glasses, you know what I'm saying? Look like she's educated. That to me, that's sex. You know what I'm saying? That to me, my opinion.
Hey Hank.
Yes,
hey
sir.
Hank, like when she wear that low heel like this, is that sexy too?
Ah, hell yeah. Come
They
on.
look kitten heel. They look kitten heel.
Yes. Man, matter
Not
of fact,
the
as soon
Kitten
as I
Hill,
get off, I
Aisha.
might tell the wife to
Don't
put
do
some on right now with her glasses on. Huh? Baby, get ready.
Y'all got some shit going on over there.
Let's say that role playing, huh?
So,
I went out on a date with my man last week, and we were sitting there eating, and there was a lot of women that were scantily clad, and I was like, wow, there's a lot of beautiful women in here tonight, whatever. And he was just like, they just doing too much. They just doing too much. And I'm just like, yeah, so hey, to each his own. But I think, you know, there are some men that don't respond well to it. They don't like women that are attention grabbers. And there are some men that like that. They like flashy women, just like there are some women that like flashy men. They like men that have on, you know, the big flashy car and the flashy Rolex and the this the da, 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 da. And then there's some women that just want their men to be more subdued with it and more chill with it. You know, okay, I don't need to see, your diamond bezel, and you don't need to pull up in the Ghost Phantom. Like some women just feel like that's tacky, that's loud. I want to be, more calm with it. I want a man that's doesn't need that type of gratification or attention. I had a friend that asked me the other day. She said, "Do you think that all of the good men are outside or inside?" And I had to think about that because I actually think a lot of the good men are inside. Because think about the man that's in the club or the lounge every weekend. That's like a man's flashiness. They go to the club, they buy the bottles, they want the sparklers, the signs, the attention. Men are can be hoes in their own right too. They could be flashy in their own right too. So it just depends on what you like, what you
I just think
into,
it,
what you looking for.
I just think it all depends on where you're going. I mean, when you mention that as a reference, I think that's probably the wrong place. But like men outside,
Right.
but they're doing things that don't align with uh like 3 or 4 cultures, so to speak. I think there are some men that can be in the club that can be presentable. Maybe they might be celebrating somebody's birthday, not their place of choice.
Not
But
them, not them that are out with a purpose. I mean the men that are in the club every weekend.
yeah,
What type of men are those that are in the club every single weekend?
I mean, some people just like to be. Some people don't want to be home and bored. It doesn't
But
necessarily mean that they're.
when we say that about a woman, some women just don't like to wear boring clothes.
Oh,
We
you try to
could
open
do
up
that.
another.
We could do that on
Okay,
both sides.
Yeah,
so
but
Okay.
men,
this
but
might be
men,
the first time I agree with DJ about that bullshit. So yeah, if you a dude at the club all the goddamn time, you a goddamn loser.
well, I was a
My opinion.
loser because
So
I used to be at the club
yeah,
all the
truth.
time, like
And
every
women
You
see
can
that
admit
and they
that.
like, what you celebrating, failure?
Shout out to Truth for
You
admitting
in
he was a
here
loser.
every
Shout out to you, brother.
weekend. What are you celebrating?
well, the
I
way
just think that getting drunk and being out of control is a woman's trait. Like men ain't supposed to go out and get drunk. That's women shit.
well, if it makes a difference, I don't drink. I actually enjoy dancing. I always have. The only place as an adult to go dancing at that time was the club. So we don't do parties no more. That's why I was out all the time. But
I used to be out there.
I used to, yeah, man, I still go
Chris
dance.
See,
Brown, huh?
it don't feel good to be judged because you know your motives being in the club. You know you like to dance. You know you like to be in social settings. You're not in there to be flashy and be a trick, right? But there are some women that will just see you and just make an assumption about you based off of how you're presenting. Oh, this a flashy dude. This a player. And that's what I was speaking to earlier about seeing women that they may think like this is how you catch an eye. This is how you attract. I have another side to me, So it really just depends. And I think just making flash judgments about people and not taking a closer look, I think sometimes it could be a mistake. Sometimes.
The only equivalent I can make of that to this example is being in that environment. People always thought I was drinking, but they never thought it from a sexual place. That's the only difference I see. When a woman out in that environment, a regular, by default, you're just gonna get marked as, she gets around, even if she may not. And it's unfortunate, it's just one of those things. But I can overwhelmingly tell you, every time I go to the bar and order juice, even the bartenders was like, "Oh, you drive?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I drive, but I don't drink." So, like, give me my cranberry juice and don't judge me. Like, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, Hank don't drink it. He don't drink it either. So
That's what's up.
There
yeah,
you go. So just because you in a bar doesn't mean you're a drunk, and just because you're wearing a tight outfit doesn't mean you're a slut. See what I
Well,
did
now, see,
there? See what I
once
did
again,
there?
this is what I have to disagree with DJ about.
What you over there thinking, Amir?
I'm thinking DJ is lying. DJ said, because you're in a bar doesn't make you a drunk, which is okay, true. But she said if you dress a certain way, it doesn't make you a slut. I don't know. Because oh man. There's not, I don't know. Because girls that you see who dress like that, you don't see girls who are shy. If a girl is shy and sweet and innocent or something, she's not gonna dress like that. She just won't. I still don't believe that there's women who are shy and innocent who just dress with their stuff hanging out. I'll never believe that, no matter how many times it's told.
You must have never met a hoe because hoes be shy. They be real shy.
A hoe is shy?
They be real shy. They be nice too, sweet. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Aisha, can you?
Them church hoes.
Hey, hold on, y'all. Hold on,
Them
y'all.
church hoes are dangerous, baby.
Yeah, can
Don't
y'all
get
break
it
that?
fucked up.
Can y'all break that down when y'all say shy? What does that look
Aisha,
like?
please stop.
I've
Do y'all
literally
remember?
met.
Wait, do y'all remember "Don't Be a Menace"? That scene where he, when the girl she had the turtleneck up to here with the bow, and she was like, "I usually don't do this." It be like that. It really be
Even I
like
think
that.
Jamie Foxx had a stand up where he kept saying, "I usually don't do this, but because that is what hoes do. They play this role, but most of them are really shy and innocent. Like I've even met strippers that have like social anxiety. Like they really be shy in real life, don't know how to talk. Like they're not really these out, and they normally have really low self-esteem, so they're not outgoing. So the thing for, I don't think that you should think that everybody that dresses like a hoe is like outgoing and just no. They be shy and they be kind, and that's how they get.
But Aisha, they may be shy when it comes to conversation, use that mouth, but they use that mouth for other things. I promise you that.
What they use the mouth for?
Well, we ain't got to go into details, but we're gonna just leave it to our imagination.
Listen, I don't know. I think people get fooled all the time, but I think that's because we're women, so we're closer to it, and we really know the bodies that these women be really catching in real life. Y'all just know what they tell you. We know what's actually going on.
So you think that? So let me get this straight, just so you can enlighten me. And even when women are getting married, women lie about their body count. You guys can confirm this, that you've known women, don't have to be yourselves, but you've known women to lie about their body count, like they have high body counts, but that man probably has no idea.
I don't know about that. That's
I
not a
don't know
discussion that I
women
normally.
I don't know about the whole like the man asked them, because I don't know if men
So then what did y'all mean when y'all said that,
I don't
that the
know
men have no idea then? Because y'all was speaking, I'm like,
Meaning
damn, really?
about
how
how
many have you slept with, but I know women that, I mean, these are probably too, but you know women that was hoes and they married, kids, husband don't even would never even
Yeah.
think to know. You know what I'm saying? She had a whole nother life back then.
Why are you smiling so big about that, Aisha? You just smiling
Yeah,
a little too much, you know?
I be low key happy for him. You know what I'm saying? So
Lord Jesus.
But y'all be reform hoes too getting married. So why y'all get a pass? You gotta let hoes is hoes.
The battle wounds that men endure being out here exploring is just way different. I wish it was the same, but it's not.
If she got a clean bill of health and you can't tell,
see, that's the thing
it
though.
is
You
what it
can't.
is.
You can. That's what y'all don't get, and it's okay. We ain't gotta go down there.
If he could tell, then why is he marrying her?
because I think that it depends on variables. A lot of dudes already assume, depending on age, depending on how attractive she is, you ain't been by yourself. You ain't by yourself when I meet you. When I meet you, you talking to 3, 4, 5, maybe 10. That's how most dudes move, generally speaking.
Wait,
So,
what you said? You said if you meet a woman, she's talking to 3, 4, 5, 10 men?
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
Who
yeah.
you talking to?
No, I'm telling them. Look, I'm telling you what.
Where you meeting these women in the club?
No, they're just.
I'm
It's
trying
just.
to see who has time to talk to that
Okay.
many people.
Well, I think it's probably. I think we should probably have him clarify or elaborate on talking. Like, is it that she has access? Is it that she's entertaining? Is it that she's smashing? Like, what do you mean by?
I safely assume and even confirm from some of my friends that are females, they tend to have about 5 guys around at a time. There's one they really, really like, and he's the closest to the boyfriend. The other 4, they play their role. The attention, time, whatever it may be. And then if you meet her, now she's trying to figure out who she gonna boot off the roster. And depending on how you perform, she may get rid of the roster. Like, this is most girls. I don't know. Is this new information?
Yeah, I'm clutching my pearls, honey.
What?
No, I've never heard.
That's a little different. You know, when I'm clutching my pearls, it's a little much.
See,
I never heard of anybody. What kind of friends you got?
I'm from the city. Like, that's this. We in the city. That's just
what
how.
city?
I'm from
what
LA.
city you in?
I'm from LA.
Maybe they different in LA.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of actors in LA and actresses.
Yeah. LA is a completely different dating demographic environment. Like it. Yeah. If you could actually date out here successfully, you all right. Like, because
so I know women.
Hold on
like
now,
when women say Rasta. Real quick, when women say Rasta, I feel like they might be talking about 2, maybe 3. I mean, how do you have time? Where's the time?
Even if that's
do these women have jobs?
But DJ, even if it's 3, you don't think that's a lot?
If she's just talking to them and trying to get to know them, I don't. It depends.
Yeah,
It depends
that sounds good when it's
because
just talking, but I think
but
it's
you know
more
what
than maybe
happens
just
is
talking.
when men have a roster, they have a different intention and a different goal. When men have a roster, they usually fucking everybody on the roster. When a woman has a roster, it's usually they're trying to get to know who is the person that they can take the next step towards. They're usually dating. And when I say dating, just talking, getting to know that person, getting to know, their goals, who they are, what they want for their future, if they're in alignment with that person. And then you do process of elimination. So when we say roster, it's not the same type of thing that a man is thinking about when he says a roster. And I think that you should not put all your eggs in one basket. That's the point of dating, to find the best possible option for you.
So you're confirming what I'm
So
saying.
how are you saying? How are you telling? How are you telling them?
I don't know. I don't have that. No, I don't know anybody that has that type of time. I don't.
Yeah, but how are you telling a man you're intentional when you entertaining 3 to 4 different dudes?
What do you mean?
You can't use those words of intentional if you're entertaining 3 to 4 different dudes, because you're not intentional.
Hank, this is why I say I don't date, right? Because dating in Western society means that you're supposed to be out here going on dates with like all these random people. I don't since I was married my whole life, my brain does not process that. I have to find one person that I like, and I will focus on that person. That's it. That's all. I cannot.
While he's focused on 5 or 6,
to get to know 4 different guys at one time. I don't see a reason to do that.
Bless your heart. Bless your heart, Aisha.
I don't see it
like that no more, but bless your heart.
But do you know why it's not like that? Do you have an idea? Any idea at all?
Well, yeah, because
DJ, the way these women are dressed, they hoes now. That's why.
No, Hank. Maybe for some, I don't know.
I think a lot of
maybe, but for some other women, I think that for a long time, women have absolutely no issue honing in on one man and focusing on him, but they have not been rewarded when they with that, because what often happens is a woman will focus in on a man, and let's face it, that's some level of exclusivity that you're offering. So you are in this situation, you're offering this exclusivity, you're offering all of this focus, and this man is here, there, and everywhere. He's not focused on you. He's entertaining 2, 3, and 4 women at a time, and then you wonder why his attention is
But
being diverted.
you don't focus your attention on a man that's not focusing his attention on you. So I'm not going to hone on to this man and give him my 100% focus until I know that that's what he's giving me, right? So and that's because I've had that conversation. We've talked, and I you know what I'm saying? That's just the way that I move, and it's worked for me, right? And I have a friend who's engaged now. It worked for her. She was like, I took your advice. I'm like, don't find somebody that you like and that you're in alignment with, and you date that person. Point blank, period. Are you going to meet people? Yeah, okay, end the story. But once you meet that one person, that's who you date. That's who you focus on. You do not go on Tuesday, you with Craig. Friday, I'm having him take me to dinner. It's like job interviews. Like, it's like me sitting here interviewing you for a job. You get nothing out of that.
That's not true.
Time is money, honey.
No,
I
that's not true at all.
time for surface level relationships and surface level friendships. I mean, maybe other people do. I think that me and you are cancers, right? So we don't spend a lot of time on bullshit. So,
That's a fact.
Like,
but think about it. Like,
I have a power of discernment, so I can tell. Like, I don't like him. He's not for me. Like,
it don't take long.
It don't take long.
So my thing is, okay. How do you know that this man is even deserving of your focus until you date them? So let's say you meet, let's say you're like, all right, I'm on the mark, I'm out here, I want to see what's out there, and you meet 1 or 2 guys or whatever, and you're not sure who you like because you don't know these people. You don't know these people. So to me,
I just don't do that. I don't know. I just focus my time on one person.
You're focusing your time on somebody that didn't earn your exclusivity, though.
But that's in your opinion, right? You don't know what that person
yes, it is
for me to earn my exclusivity, right? You don't know what that looks like for me. You know what I mean? Because it's certain things that are going to happen for me to even get to that level. Now, do I meet guys and then they get my number, but it's quick for me to say, I'm going to know within the first day or 2. I'm not going to go on a first date with you. I'm not going to. It's a lot of things have to happen for me to want to do that. Maybe that's why I'm still chilling. You know what I'm saying? Because
let me ask you this: what if you go on a first date, right, with a guy, and the date is lukewarm? You're not sure. You don't know. And then another guy expressed interest. Are you going to just keep dating that guy until it? Or are you going to say, okay, I'll accept a date with this other guy? You just started dating. You just went on one date with this guy, and now you run into somebody like, hey, you're beautiful. I'd like to take you out on a date.
It's for me. It's stages to dating, right? First of all, you must court me. I don't go on a date with somebody that's lukewarm. Like, it's just certain things about me and about my spirit. Like, you damn near gotta set a spark in me, right? So I don't really go on these, and I normally don't date people that I haven't been friends with. Every single relationship that I've had in my life, we were friends first. Every single relationship. So I don't meaningless date. I don't date just to date. We're going to get to know each other. We're going to be friends. And then we're going to get to the level where we're starting to go take each other out and spend time as dating. My last relationship, it's always been like that. So I don't know. I don't even know if I know how to just randomly go out.
Has that worked out?
It has. To me, it has. To me, that's the better way of doing things, because I don't want to necessarily give my energy to people unless, you know what I'm saying? I don't like to keep jumping in the pot and giving my energy to people, and I don't really want to know you.
How do you guys determine
if you interview somebody, let's say you're interviewing somebody, how would you know that they're the best candidate if you only interview one person?
Because I know, because I've done that. I've interviewed someone and said, "You got the job." I don't
You
need.
just
I'll say I don't need to
you just
interview.
know, baby. I feel you.
I'll say I don't need to interview anyone else. You know.
I did have a question. How do you guys determine if it's worked out or not? Like, what's the deciding factor if it's worked out? If the relationship is successful, is it an end goal? Like, what does that mean when you say it worked out?
To me, I mean, depending on who you are, some people don't believe in marriage or whatever. So I feel like the end goal would be marriage or a committed relationship. Depending on who you are, I don't know, what other people's end goal would be. But I also don't think just because you don't spend the rest of your life with somebody that made the situation bad or it mean that it wasn't worth it. I just think that sometimes it's just life lessons and you move on to who you're supposed to be with. But I mean, I digress.
I want to ask DJ a question, please, before you continue.
Go ahead.
DJ, you said you're the dating thing. My question that I've always had about this dating scene, because I'm ignorant about it, so forgive me. When you are dating and you say you have more than one man that you're looking at because you're not going to waste your time on one because he could be talking to other women, if you are going out with one man and then let's assume he actually likes you, he felt a connection with you, but you have a date scheduled with another guy the next day and you go out on that date because you're not flaky and you go out. Let's say the same guy from yesterday saw you today out with another guy. That guy who may have had attraction to you, do you think that he's going to take you equally as serious, or he's going to put you down a notch or two or maybe five and put you down to a what they call smash dash? They're going to put you in the smash dash compartment because he saw that you are not serious with him. You are out with other men.
What has he done to earn seriousness?
I mean, let's say he likes you, so he's on his way to earning that. But if he sees that you're not serious,
saying you like somebody and showing them is two different things. Has he had a conversation with me about, hey, I really like you, I would like to exclusively date you? That's a conversation, because I'm going to be honest with you, Amira, these men out here, if they don't have a conversation with you, if they have not verbalized it, you can forget about it, baby. You can forget about it. They have to verbalize to me. Men are verbal. When they want something, they say it. There are men out here that will live with a woman. They will have kids with her, cohabitate with her, everything under the sun. And then you find out he's sleeping with somebody else and he says, I didn't tell you that we were together. It happens every day. Every day. So if he wants to, as they say, if he liked it, he would have put a ring on it. Yeah. He put a ring on it. He liked it. If he doesn't like it, he's not going to take action and he's not going to verbalize. So I like men of action. If you want exclusivity from me, you have to be a man and say, I like you. I would like to date you exclusively. That way I know it's mutual. Right?
Now,
It has to be mutual.
yeah. Now, too, because I see what Aisha said, that she doesn't go on a date unless they've been talking for a while. But if women are out here dating, and on the first date, do you expect for him to have that insight on the first date, or are you guys getting to know each other?
So, and I date is that I'm going to get to know you before then.
Right. I got you. But this was just more to DJ's point when she says that if he doesn't express, I want to be exclusive with you, like, how would he know that if it's the first date? I think that, and then to Amira's point, if that guy was to see you, or maybe his body language, or maybe your body language, or you may subconsciously not even realize that you're not giving him your undivided attention because you're entertaining other people. So, like, where do you draw the line?
Most men know they're going to have to turn up the heat. Most men, they will not depart from you. They know, and I don't care what anybody says, but if a man sees that you are still entertaining other options and he is really interested in you, he will turn up that heat.
But I feel the same way. It's the same way for women.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
It goes both ways.
All right.
but I also think about if a man is entertaining, because this happens, right? Where a woman knows this man has other women. She knows he has other options. Like she knows that, 'cause typically the men hear it. I know you got other women. I know. I'm not stupid. I know you got other women, right? So women often, not you, but in my personal experience, women want you to be into them. And it's typically an issue if you are entertaining other women because then it appears like you're not serious. So we flip that. Why would it be any different for like the woman? If she's entertaining anybody, then it may appear that she's playing games or she's not ready to settle down because she has to vocalize too and say, hey, I'm looking to intentionally date. But then if you say you're looking to intentionally date and then you go out here and you entertain other people, then are you really intentionally dating?
You have to understand who you're dating. I think that intentionally dating is I'm going on a date. And if we go on a date, I can tell you I'm marriage minded, but that doesn't mean that you've earned exclusivity. That's something that you have to show me you're interested in by verbalizing and that I have to consent to. It goes
So
both
are you telling
ways.
these men that you're seeing other men? Are you
I
telling
would
these
invite
men?
I
Being
would
honest
not
with
I
these
think
men?
it's an assumption. I think that you need to assume that everybody's options are open until someone comes in and closes them.
Now, so now you're not being honest with me. I need for
No,
you.
no,
I
no,
shouldn't
no.
have to
It's
assume
not.
shit. If
No, no,
if you're going
no.
to be,
You don't.
hold on, DJ, hold
Why
on.
would
Let me finish.
dating is
DJ,
not a
DJ, DJ,
commitment.
DJ. Let me finish. Let me finish, man.
Okay, go ahead.
If you're supposed to be exclusive, I'm dating you, and
Mhm.
and I'm trying to entertain you and all of that, but you're not telling the man that there's other guys that you are seeing because we're not exclusive. So now you're not being honest, and you expect that man to turn the heat up. No, what that man should do is turn the heat the fuck off and get the hell out because it's obvious you got other guys you're entertaining and you're not taking me serious. And if you're not taking me serious, I'm not out as a man. We're not going to continue to waste our time and energy and resources on a woman who's not serious with me. She wasn't even serious to me enough to even be honest with me and tell us she's seeing other people. So yeah, man needs to get the hell out and move on.
Okay,
Well, you
so I
know what?
do.
Go
I was
ahead,
going to say
Julian.
that I do want to paint this picture right because I don't typically see these conversations going on exactly like this way. I mean, I know we shock value we having this conversation, but um, I'll speak about me personally. I just assume that there's other men, especially depending on the woman that I may be encountering. I don't worry about those other men. That's the difference with me because whenever a woman locks in on a man, those guys not going to really matter typically. Most of the time, they're not going to matter. Most of the time, she's going to see the value in you and she's going to want to be in your presence around you. She wants to be a part of your life. So certain men, all men don't experience this. I've experienced it. I know I have value. I know who I am. So I don't run into those issues where I'm concerned about the other man. It's like you need to be more concerned about me. And she will get on your program. Those are women that you want to invite. You're not the ones that's playing the games. So I just automatically assume to kind of sum this up that there may be other potentials out there, depending on the woman. I don't think all women have valuable options. I say I think women have options because a lot of men will talk to anything. A lot of men just thirsty. Anything that's moving, somebody out there trying to holler at them. But when we talk about quality, and I think the older you get, you're looking for a certain type of man, a certain type of woman. And I don't think there's a lot of quality men nor a lot of quality women out there. So when you get somebody that checks at least 2 out of the 3 boxes, then I think you got you a good candidate. So I don't think you really have to do too much work. I think everybody's out here at that point in that age, everybody here testing the waters and people scrambling, trying to get chose.
But
But it's not
JR,
about
that's also you also use that as an honesty test to see how honest she's going to be and forthright is she going to be. Because right now, I need to know if I'm going to invest this time and energy to this woman, I need to see if she's an honest woman. She's straightforward. She's just playing games or she's just lying. So part of her being honest is, I'm gonna straight up ask you. I'm not gonna just assume, because I can make an ass for myself and just assume, yes, she didn't, and she may not be seeing nobody else. But I'm assuming that now. I'm putting doubt already in her because I'm assuming she's that like that, and she may not be like that. So I just need to straight up be honest. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm not gonna play these mind games because I'm too old to be playing games. We adults here. Are we? Are we not adults? So if we adults, I need to straight up ask you: are you seeing other men? Straight up. That's what I'm at. Straight up. Are you seeing other men?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me ask you this, Hank. Hank, I'm sorry, I said Hank. What's wrong with just closing her options if you're interested in her, right? And you see, I guess after one date that's somebody you want to date exclusively. What's wrong with just verbalizing that and saying, hey, I don't know if you are dating anyone, but I want to let you know I'm not seeing anyone else. Because I would like to focus on you. Is that something that you would like to do? And
So
you go
you're
from
doing
there.
you're doing just what I'm saying. You're asking the question. You're asking a question without asking a question with the statement you just made, man. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
but
I don't have time to play games.
until
But
he
I want
asks
to
a
know.
question, though, Hank, the assumption is that he has his options open and you have your options open. So until someone approaches the conversation, exclusivity should not be assumed. Because
Okay,
for
so
too
y'all
long,
want to
women
play. Okay, so y'all want to
assume
play
that,
games.
and they're always wrong.
I got you. So I'm not about the gameplay. I'm gonna straight up ask you. Like I said before, by the third date, I'm gonna know if your credit score. That's what
Okay,
I'm
you a
about.
serious
I'm about
man.
getting the
Nothing wrong with
answers.
that.
I'm not trying to beat around the bush with you. I'm not trying to play games. Now, if I just want to fuck on you, then that's cool too. I'm gonna say, yeah, you see who you want to. I'm just gonna keep knocking you down. That's cool.
Hey, Hank, I think you got to understand too, though. Some of the questions I really answered in the responses and how they move. I mean, you can really kind of get an idea of that. So sometimes you can ask a woman and she still might not tell you the truth. So you can ask them straight up. It don't necessarily mean you're gonna get the truth, but you got to pay attention to other variables with that woman to determine who she really is. There are some women that will be honest. There are some women that will be upfront with you, but then you got some that won't. So I think you got to be able to read that person and just collect data. And that's why you sit down, you have conversations, you listen. You may ask a question like, when the last time you went on a date? She may say last week. That's probably a sign that she probably may be dating. So people tell you anything. People tell you what you want to hear, but you have to be mindful of all possibilities when you're vetting. And then when you got a good one, you ain't got to question it because she's gonna already and told you. She may not have verbalized and told you like, hey, I'm not dating nobody. You may just know that every time y'all talk, she seemed to be in the house or at work. And that's really kind of answering your question right there. Like she don't really go nowhere. Or she may be calling you trying to ask and see what you got going on. Hey, what you doing this weekend? And you've been noticing the pattern and she just been asking that often during her free time. So I wouldn't get so much hung up on somebody happen to tell you something. I just think you just got to be able to understand how people are. And once
Baby,
you
you got
understand
to
how
ask
people
me
are,
to go steady. You want to go
and
steady?
like if you was dating, like if you was out there, let's say hypothetically, you was out there dating DJ might not be the person. She ain't gonna work with you. You gonna already know already because she's gonna present herself to be difficult to you, and you're gonna be like, I ain't got time for it. And you're gonna see them signs, and you ain't gonna go too far with it. But then there might be somebody like Mrs. Hink, a little bit more reserved, a little bit more mild mannered, and she might be your flavor right there. And then you put a ring on it. So I just think people just be people, and I think we overcomplicate dating. A lot of things present itself that you just got to believe what you see. Sometimes we see things and we see the flags on both sides, and then we just still deep dive into it because we hard here. It's just how some folks are. We have to learn the hard way sometimes.
JR, let me ask one more question before
There's
you
an old
finish.
saying that trust but verify. So that's the motto I live by. I trust, but I'm gonna verify what you're saying is true. So we're gonna have multiple conversations on the phone, and I'm gonna see what you're saying, and then I'm gonna bring up that same conversation 2 days later on the date and see if the answer is gonna change or it's gonna be consistent.
Man,
And
I
if
don't
I
always
sit
work.
here, you said what?
So I was saying that don't always work, man. I mean, you got to think about because men do it too. You know, men
For sure.
men be keeping up with they what they last sometimes. I mean, you may slip up the crack every now and then, but you got some people that's really mastered it.
I definitely agree with that, but that's why I say that and I do it because it's what I've done. Shit. Look, I wouldn't always save and sanctify, filled with the Holy Ghost and the Holy Spirit. I promise you I would. So I do what I do, but I ask for questions because I know what I did. So
yeah, I got you, Hank. Go ahead, Amir. You got a question?
My last question, I think you're trying to close out, but my last question is to the ladies and I guess to the men. If you see a woman out with multiple men, let's say you see it, does that woman appear to be more of a hot commodity to you? Do you believe that a woman is seen as more of a hot commodity if she is seen with multiple men?
No, I don't think she's a commodity. I mean, I just think she just may be highly attractive, and that's the reason why she has people around her. But then I also think there's a reason why she's allowing these people to be around her as well. So I think there's two things that can happen at the same time. I can't really say who she is until I'm put in that situation, but I just probably say she like to be outside. She like to entertain. You know, she like to be around. But it all depends on what she got going on. You know, if she's a party promoter, if she's DJing, if she, maybe she's some type of got a little status or something like that. Maybe, I don't know, man. It just all depends on the situation. But typically, if I just seen that, to answer your question, I wouldn't say she's straight up a hot commodity. A hot commodity to me may look like somebody that may be a little bit more reserved, somebody that's not outside. That may be what's hot commodity to me, but that's just me.
I think that being highly desirable and entertaining a few options is not the same as being flighty and allowing everyone to have accessibility to you. I think controlling accessibility is an important trait when you're dating. That's a huge thing when you're dating. Even with the men that you're dating, everyone shouldn't have full access to you. Meaning, if you're going on a first date, you shouldn't be going to his house. You shouldn't be sleeping over every weekend and playing house. Some women are so too accessible to the men that they're dating. So even within that frame, you have to be careful. So I don't think it's just about a woman. If a woman is out and she is dating, I don't think there's anything wrong with her dating and entertaining options. But I think that she should also be mindful of the manner in which she's entertaining the options, whom she's entertaining options with. I think that she has to be discerning and she has to be mindful. But I don't think that because she's going on a date with one person here this week and maybe another person there this week, she is going through, okay, who is the best person for me? It doesn't mean she's catching bodies and she's sticking her tongue down every man's throat and she's out holding court with 3, 4 men at a table. Hey guys, don't all come at me at once. It's not like that. She's going on dates and she's trying to figure out who is the best, because choosing a partner is a pivotal thing in your life. It can make or break you. It can destroy you or build you up. So I think men and women should make sure that when they're in the dating stage, that you actually date. That's what dating is about. Entertaining options and seeing who's out there and what they're about, and if you guys align, and then seeing, it's kind of like, okay, we moving on to the next stage. This man is not going to move on to the next stage with me. I'd like to see this man more often. This man is not somebody I'm going to call back. A lot of people don't even make it past the first date. They don't. So, it's not so much about dating. It's about how you're dating and whom you're dating and why you're dating them.
All right. Anybody else want to answer that question? Okay, was your question answered, Amir? A little bit of insight.
Yeah, I like that. I got it from a man and a woman.
Okay. Get to these super chats. CJ sparring matches 199 says, I don't know if y'all realize it, but Hink isn't that bright. Damn, Hink. LD 199 says, shit. I love when them cheeks be out. Chris Reed, $10 says, do we complain when Megan did a concert for Kamala Harris? And I don't think a boyfriend or a husband should tell his wife or girlfriend what to wear out of the house. LD499 says, y'all tripping. I love my girl cheeks out. I don't know. Let me see it wiggle. CJ sparring matches 199 says, Hink wife does whatever she wants. So you got a fan, Hink. CJ. You know CJ?
Yeah, he's a gay man.
Oh, okay. Mr. Travolta, the 125 foreign currency. DJ, shout out to you. You've had a complete attitude adjustment from previous shows. You're acting more feminine. What happened? Looking for a man now? Travolta trying to shoot his shot. Mr.
Yo,
Travolta.
mama.
$50 foreign currency. DJ, so you got a man now. Okay, it makes sense.
I've had a man for 3 years. Y'all, everybody shut the fuck up, please.
Oh. Do some violence. Big An 11, $10 says, JR, he lying. He be going to sleep in about 10 minutes. Old ass. Mr. Travolta, $50 foreign currency. A woman with a roster is looking for free food. Big Bama 44, 199 says, Hink want to say y'all lying so bad. Laughing emojis. I see you, dog. Mr. Travolta again with the 125 currency. Again, shout out to you, DJ, for the change in your personality. You've actually learned when to keep quiet. It's a skill that many women haven't mastered. The Will 999 says, I hate to agree with DJ, but she ain't lying in that one. A dude will live with a woman for a decade, have 3 kids with her, and say, we just friends. If he wants her for real, he gonna make it plain. Ikane, $5 says that DJ. You show unseriousness to the dating world. You don't compete with a man when it comes to fidelity. If a man shows you doubt, you should leave. And Ikane again, lastly, $5 says, I'm bringing matters a lot. Upbringing matters a lot. A mother should teach a daughter never to date multiple men. A man should be careful of the woman he procreate with. And that is all. I want to thank everybody that's contributed to the platform. Let's make sure we give everybody a follow on their IGs and let's support everything that they got going on if they do have some things going on. I want to thank everybody that's tuned in tonight. Thursday show is tomorrow. Y'all make sure y'all tap in and that and catch us next Wednesday on the Wednesday show. Until next time.